Alright, so chapter 1036 came out there the other day. And I know I didn't review it the day of because, hell, I was busy still winding down from Christmas. I'm honestly only on the wind down now. I literally, since I think the 22nd, I haven't touched a video in ages. I haven't made a video, I haven't edited videos. But that's partly because my microphone broke. I'm borrowing my brother's one now. I know it looks the exact same. That's because it is. His is a newer version. My older version, for some reason, is compatible with the PC I bought off him. I don't know if he knew that when he gave it to me, but it is how it is. But we've got a new chapter to talk about. And there's quite a lot to talk about. I could make separate videos on different segments of this chapter, but I'm not because it's Christmas and I don't feel like doing anything until the new year. So this besides this the way I have to edit. So let's go. Um, First, some really cool shit happens in this chapter. Because I have the new monitor and the PC, I can pull up the chapter here and just So we see the end of the King and Thing fight, and we know King's arm and wing have definitely been cut off. So we know that for sure, which is really, really cool. But Oda, everything we've been theorizing about, Oda just puts to bed now in a good way. He says, alright, Kaido was aiming to be Joy Boy at some point. So we know that was his original goal. Everyone's been theorizing about it for a while. Now we know for a fact that's what he originally wanted to do. And we see there King was like, I don't care anymore. I follow you because you're strong. It doesn't matter. But then we get one of the coolest panels in this chapter. I wouldn't say the coolest because personally I love two more panels, or I guess pages, in this chapter, right? So this panel here basically says, is Zoro's new epithet, King of Hell, the King of Hell, which I really enjoy. I think it's a really cool way to make him a demon epithet without having him take over Robin's kind of demon epithet, and then you can still have someone else have a demon epithet with Sanji because of the whole Ipra shit. So we will get epithet changes, it looks like, and I'm really excited. I have different things I really want to talk about, but this was a small thing to start it off because obviously the Zoro fight was pretty quick, and he's now Yonko level. I think he's on a tier. I don't know if he's on the same tier as Luffy. I haven't decided yet. I have to do a power scaling video about this at some point. I don't know yet what I think about it. We'll see though later down the line. I haven't decided yet what I think. I do like Luffy. I have to say, this is a very updatey chapter, you know what I mean? Like, they're talking about how the tides are changing and all this, and they're talking about, like, what's going to happen in the next while. We get some more Yamato, but it's not really that important. There's not a lot, until you get to this part here, it's not super important. This is one of my favorite panels. I love this page right here. These two pages, right? They're 2 pages. They're all with Usopp, and I adore them, but they worry me because it really gives me. I have such a love for Usopp now. It's been building ever since Enies Lobby because I hated him before Enies Lobby. I will admit that Believe in Luffy speech was the first time I was like, okay, this guy's a good character. I'll give him that. So this just kind of calls back to it, right? He is trying to save Kinemon and Kiku, and he is shitting himself. He is like, it's kind of, how do I explain this? My reason for me wanting him to have Conqueror's Haki is because his will to me is so strong. It's fighting back his own will. You know what I mean? His internal will is so strong. It's fighting back his external will. If you know what I mean? Like, he's talking about how, oh fuck, I need to run, I need to run, I need to run, but he's always fighting. He's always fighting. Because no matter how much he not pretends, but no matter how much outwardly he is a coward, inside, he is like a brave warrior. You know what I mean? He's always had that in him, and it's always fighting against his external kind of, what would you say? External. I get fighting against his conscience would be a better way to phrase it, wouldn't it? Probably. Yeah, that's a better way to phrase this. Like his conscience, his his body unconsciously, his will is fighting against his actual conscious decision, and it's so strong. That's why I feel like he deserves Conqueror's Haki at the end of the series. But I also like how he speaks about how, it's He goes, "It's stupid that you want to die. You should fight to survive," to Kinemon and Kiku, which is a cool speech in isolation. But it's horrible when you think about what it could mean. It could mean they all survive, and I need one of them to die. One of these scabbards at the very least has to die. We can't have a completely, like, no meaningful casualties in this war. Okay? It would have been, it's fantastic. It would be great. Each scabbard has a reason to die. Okay? Kiku would have been great if she died, because that would weigh heavily on Izo. He's like, if I was a better brother, if I was more attentive to her, in a way, this would weigh heavily on Izo, because he hasn't been putting too much of a focus on Kiku, and he just came back. And then, obviously, if Kinemon died, it would be for Momonosuke like losing a second father, and also without having to see his wife, that would weigh heavily on all the characters. And Kinemon has kind of been, he's kind of Kinemon has been heavily, like, kind of thought to be a big character in this series, because he's kind of what pushed us to care for Wano originally. Like, a lot of people hated Momonosuke, and a lot of people hate Kinemon, but honestly, I feel like Oda's done a great job of making him likable in the recent arcs, and I'm really enjoying Kinemon myself personally. I feel like he's a great character now, especially, like, his drive is amazing. I feel like it'd be good if one of them dies. If Ashura Doji is dead and Kiku is dead, I think I'd be happy with that. If they have to have one survive and it has to be Kinemon, I'm okay with that. But, like, some of the scabbards have to die. Okay, some of them have to die. I can't imagine Inuarashi and Nekomamushi dying at this point. I just can't see it. I just can't see it personally. I don't think it's going to happen at this point. Because what's going to kill them besides the fire? Like, they've gotten rid of Perospero and Jack. So what the fuck is going to kill them at this point? So I don't see them dying. I don't see Raizo dying. So, besides Kanjuro, the only three scabbards I see dying are Ashura Doji, Kiku, and Kinemon. And now, because of that speech, at least one of them has to survive. You know what I mean? And to me, I feel like the one who's going to survive is probably going to be Kinemon, because he still has to see his wife. He still has to see adult Momo. He's the one with the investment, so Kiku's more expendable. And also, it would be great for more development for Izo as well. And Izo is like a Whitebeard commander, so his character is semi important as well, so it'd be good for his development. So there's a lot of different aspects to this, and I'm intrigued to see where it goes, because on one hand, if all the scabbards survive, it's a great character moment for Usopp, because he was the one who reignited their drive to survive. But at the same time, it's like, oh man, I don't want to see a non-casualty war. You know what I mean? I want some casualties, at least one casualty that we care about. And even now, we get the fucking Germa cover story, and there's a possibility Pedro's gonna just pop up and still be alive. Like, man, I will be crying. I will literally be crying my eyes out if Pedro's alive, bro. That is gonna piss me off to no end. And I realize I'm giving out at this chapter a lot and but I'm talking hypotheticals, right? Obviously, I love this chapter. It was a very catch-up chapter. Wasn't as bombastic as last year's end of the year chapter, I will have to say. But I loved it. I did love the last chapter. I loved the middle 2 pages with Usopp and Izo. I loved the start of it. The color page was great. I love the start of it with the epithet for Zoro. But we will say, I love Usopp getting some recognition, because I've come to love his constant conflict between his conscious self and, like, the power of his internal will. You know what I mean? I love that fight. You know what I mean? I think that's going to play into later. I may talk about that in a separate video about Usopp, and that's why I love Usopp now. I still don't like him pre-Enies Lobby, and I think he has the worst introduction arc in the series. I just don't like Syrup Village. That was fueling most of my hatred for Usopp in the early arcs. I just do not like Syrup Village at all, to be honest. But hey, he's growing on me slowly throughout the series, and I think I love his speeches. I really do. He gives some great speeches, and the voice actor is great as well. I think the anime makes him more comedy relief, and I don't like that. But the manga, you just get the good shit from Usopp, really, and a bit of comedy, the right amount of comedy. So we'll see how it goes. But there's more to talk about in this chapter, so let's move on. Alright, so first of all, next thing I wanted to say, Raizo and Fukurakuji, right? We've been seeing this fight for so long. I kind of just want them both to die in the fire. I know I said Raizo's definitely not going to die, because he's definitely not going to die. They've literally nothing's happening. They've paralyzed each other now. Like, what the fuck? This is ridiculous. Why is this still going on? It's funny. It's funny now, but it's like, I just don't see how this is going to end with, besides them both getting eaten up by the fire demon, which I think would be incredibly funny. I don't give a shit about Raizo. I've never given a shit about Raizo, but the community has made me care about this fight because I think it's hilarious how long it's been going on. And that's all I have to say about this, because like, they're literally paralyzed. Like, literally nothing is happening. If you've read the chapter, like, they're literally both paralyzing each other. So literally nothing is happening in this fight. That is like the funniest shit in the world. I'm not even gonna lie. It's the funniest shit. But then we get some more Orochi and Kuromasaki stuff, and I want Hiyori to kick his ass. I really do, but like, I feel like that's gonna be later on in the year. I feel like I don't know, we're gonna go straight to, hopefully we're gonna go to Kaido and Luffy now, and then we'll go back to Thing later. But damn, okay, so we also, there's stuff with like CP0 and shit, but I don't really want to cover that because I'm like, that's cool. Morgan's gonna get the details from Apu, and Drake is probably gonna die, so we will get a supernova casualty, which is pretty cool as well. And we see that CP0 can like wipe out 2 supernovas, so that's cool as well. CP0 are not living up to the hype because we haven't seen them fight a decently strong opponent. But again, Drake is a Toby Roppo in Kaido's crew, so that's like, he's at least Jinbei level, I'd say, roughly, give or take. So you're seeing like, I don't know, maybe he's like, would he be Jinbei level? It's hard to say. I think he's Jinbei level. I'm very confident somewhat in saying he's Jinbei level, but we don't know for sure yet. So they're at least on the par with Jinbei currently in terms of feats, I'd say. So that's pretty strong. That's like 3rd commander level, I'd say. So that's pretty strong. And I'd say they're 2nd commander level at least, because this is just them taking it easy. So it's hard to say. But we do know Morgans is going to find out about all this, which I'm really excited for, because that means we're getting the newspaper. And as you know, my whole reason for liking Yamato is because of that newspaper article when she joins the Straw Hats. And it's like, Kaido's child joins the Straw Hats, and like the whole world's reaction to that. Because that's what I want to see, okay? That is what I want to see. Okay? And the reaction to Jinbei drawing the Straw Hats officially. You know what I mean? As well. I'm probably getting more allying with Wano. Oh, it's gonna be fantastic. I'm happy just thinking about it. Like, oh, that was that newspaper article, man. Oh, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be fantastic. But then we get something I've really enjoyed, and I do want to talk for this, and this is why I like Kaido. It's just like, Luffy's just having fun fighting Kaido. It's the weirdest shit, but he just is. Like, he's fighting Kaido here, and they're like, he punches the fuck, like, we get a lovely panel of him just punching the fuck out of Kaido, and they both fall to the ground, and they get back up, and he's like, oh, this is just starting to get good. And Kaido's like, that's exactly what I was thinking, yeah. And I like that dynamic, because, you know, Luffy fucking hates what Kaido's doing, but as a pirate, he respects the power. You know, and Kaido respects him as well. But like, so Luffy's going to enjoy his time fighting Kaido, but he's still going to kick the living shit out of him when you know what I mean? But damn, like, I just like Kaido a lot as a villain. I just feel like he's that type of villain that I just really enjoy. He just loves fighting, and he has a lot of, like, his character is, like, thought about, and obviously is a very deep character with his, we haven't seen everything from him, but we get hints at a very deep character with, like, him dealing with depression in a way, and kind of his contrast to how he treats his adoptive children, in a sense, compared to his biological child, which still hasn't been explained and probably won't be in-depthly explained, just like the Viola and Doflamingo relationship, which we're not going to talk about. But that was also a nice deep thing about Doflamingo's disgusting character that we got to know. But part of me feels like it's weird because surely Luffy should be more angry at Kaido than he was at Doflamingo, but no. So I don't know. It's weird, but I also really like the dynamic. Um, I feel like we're running up to the end. I think there's only going to be 15 chapters left. I was talking to a mate of mine, and he said 20. So I think I would like if he's right because then we could get more backstory and a better fight. So probably 20 more chapters in the arc. So we'll see. But it's a really, really enjoyable chapter. I just that panel, that panel where he punches Kaido, like it's fucking clean. It's a clean hit too. It's like a nice clean hit, man. It's clean. You know what I mean? I like that because whenever Luffy punches in the manga, it always looks so clean. And I just like that shit. Even though it's a very rough art style, which I think works for One Piece. I think the rough art style works very well. Especially for when Luffy's all beat up. Like, it just looks so good. The next chapter isn't going to be for another... What day is it now? It's like 17 days, I think. Is it 17 days? I think so. So we're going to have to wait that long. Okay. That's fine. I feel like part of me who wants to go, I know I want chapters because I'm like, I want to talk about more about One Piece and I want to know more about One Piece. But at the same fucking time, I just don't want Oda to die, man. I'm terrified of him dying before the end of the series. And, like, I'm terrified of that, man. I want it. So I'm like, take as many breaks as you want. Like, get another artist to do it. I don't mind. Just don't die, please. Please don't die. You know, I'm terrified of that. Because so many artists are dying these days. And obviously, even if he stops the manga, you know, even if it's like he stops the manga before and doesn't, like, I don't mind. Part of me doesn't mind if this manga is incomplete. Part of me really wants to see it finish. Part of me really wants to see One Piece finish. But at the same time, if it's like, if Oda just stops it and is like for his health, I think I'd be happier with that than I would be if he dies in the middle of the series. You know what I mean? I think that's where I'm at right now with this. I've decided like I've gotten One Piece has done so much and I love it so much. One Piece has done so much for me and I love it. It's just, and every time a chapter comes out, even if it's a okay chapter and it's not an amazing chapter, and every chapter this year besides the one where all the scabbards are shown to be alive again, you know, that one where it's like Kinemon's legs. Every chapter was a 10 out of 10 this year for the most part. And when I talk about these chapters, it's going to be hard because you're talking about 10 out of 10 chapters. Every single chapter. So what are you going to do? That's the question. But it's been a great year. And once again, I'll see you January 14th when the new chapter comes out. I'll still be talking about other stuff, but that's the last One Piece thing, I think. For the rest of the year. And that's weird to say. That is strange to say. But thank you for watching. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.